And many of those who sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And those who are wise shall shine like the brightness of the sky above, and those who turn many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever.
N.T. Wright argues that the main source for the ideas and images in Daniel 12 verses 2-3 is Isaiah. The most obvious passage is Isaiah 26 verse 19, which few doubt to be the background of this pivotal text. This means that Daniel did not innovate the idea of resurrection after death. His prophecy is consistent with what came before in Isaiah. Daniel 12 verses 2-3 predicts a dual destiny for those who sleep in death.
And many of those who sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt.
Some try to limit Daniel 12's resurrection to a specific group of people and not to all of humanity. Nevertheless, Jesus clearly alludes to Daniel's prophecy to describe the final resurrection of all people in John 5 verses 28-29.
Do not marvel at this, for an hour is coming when all who are in the tombs will hear his voice and come out, those who have done good to the resurrection of life, and those who have done evil to the resurrection of judgment.
So either by original sense or by implication, Daniel 12 verses 2-3 describes what ultimately happens to all people at the final judgment after they die. There is a double resurrection. Not only do the righteous anticipate resurrection after death, but so do the unrighteous. The clear implication is that all of humanity will ultimately be resurrected to everlasting life or to disgrace and everlasting contempt. As Bruce Milne has commented on this text,
the most impressive implication to be drawn is the clear either-or, which is reflected here. There are no third categories or third options as far as human destiny is concerned.
Ultimately, the destinies of these two groups are separate. This final separation is permanent. The state of those resurrected to life is everlasting or eternal. The Hebrew term translated as everlasting in the NASB is olam, which often has the connotation of time extending into the distant past and into the future indefinitely. For the righteous, their life in the future is unending. Likewise for the unrighteous, their disgrace and everlasting contempt are also unending. Because the same term, everlasting, Hebrew, olam, describes the duration of both the righteous and the wicked, it is obvious that their destinies are equally extended. The Hebrew term translated in the NASB as contempt, deraon, appears only one other time in the Old Testament, and that is in Isaiah 66 verse 24, where it refers to unburied corpses who have fallen under the judgment of God. The term evokes the same imagery in Daniel, suggesting that those resurrected to contempt are awakened for judgment and punishment. The awakening implies consciousness, but it is a consciousness of judgment and eschatological contempt that does not end. Because it does not end, the purpose of this eschatological judgment cannot be redemptive or transformative in any sense. It is a recompense for unrepentant sin, not a purging of sin. This leads to the conclusion that the final state of the damned is retributive. As Tremper Longman comments on this text,
the problem of retribution is a huge one in the Bible, particularly in the Old Testament. Daniel 12, however, makes it clear that the wicked will ultimately get what they deserve: destruction and shame.